Hi Pitch Wars, my name is Ashley Hearn and I'm a YA mentor this year. I'm finishing up my 4-part video series, answering all the wonderful questions I got from you guys on Twitter, and today I'm going to be talking about critique partners. Basically with critique partners, if you don't have one, you probably need to get one. I personally don't see it as an optional step in the process. As writers, we're oftentimes too close to a story to be able to see plot problems and holes, and that's where a good critique partner comes in because they're going to be able to provide that impartial eye to help you make the story better. They can see the things that you weren't able to see because you're too close to the story. I personally wouldn't be anywhere without my critique group. We've been together for almost 3 years, meeting online pretty much every week since then. And along with helping improve my story, point out the weaknesses in my own writing, and really just make my story better, they make the whole process less lonely. When I first started out as a writer of fan fiction, what helped me keep going, what helped me keep churning in those chapters week in and week out, were the reviews that I would get when I would post something new. I thrived on those reviews and the knowledge that people were reading my stories and waiting to see what happens next. Once I made the switch over to original fiction, then I didn't have those reviews anymore. So I didn't have anything externally motivating me to keep churning chapters out. The motivation instead had to come from within, which was really difficult at first, until I found my critique partners and I started sending them chapters every single week, and they kind of took the place of those reviewers. I would send them chapters and they would come back to me all marked up with critique, and not only were they helping me grow as a writer, but I looked forward to sending them things so much that it helped me keep going and develop good writing habits that I still have to this day. Friends and family don't count as critique partners because you really need a CP to be impartial. They need to care more about the story and helping you improve as a writer than hurting your feelings. And even the most well-intentioned friends and family members often have a hard time separating the writer from what they're writing. I want to talk really briefly about the difference between critique partners and beta readers. Now, there's no hard and fast definition that I know of, but for me, critique partners are the folks that I send things to on a weekly basis, that I'm in constant contact with, that we meet in our critique group every week, and that we're exchanging materials and critiquing as the story develops and goes along. Beta readers are people that I send the full manuscript to once it's as polished as it can be, once it's gone through all my critique partners probably twice, and then I need somebody else who isn't a part of my critique group to read the full story and provide feedback on how it reads as an actual book. So critique partners are reading the story as I go along. Beta readers are reading it once it's as finished as I can possibly make it. So how do you find these critique partners? Well, Pitch Wars is a great place to start because you're already meeting and talking with people online who have similar interests as you and are all really, really serious about your craft. And I think that's one important thing, is you want critique partners who are just as serious about getting published as you are. Use the Facebook group. Find people who are subbing to similar mentors or maybe write something similar to what you do, and try to find somebody who you just genuinely get along with. Definitely trade sample pages, because somebody you get along with online may not make the best critique partner style-wise for you. So you want to exchange a few pages and kind of get a feel for each other's stories and their critiquing styles before you enter into a long-term relationship with them. Because the longer you go along, the harder it makes to break up at the end if it's just not working. And you want both ends of a critique partner relationship to work out equally. You want to get as much as you give in return, because that's what makes for a long-standing critique partner relationship. So once you find somebody who's a good critique partner, then what do? Well, traditionally there's been two different ways of working with critique partners, either in-person groups or online. And both have their advantages and disadvantages. In an in-person critique group, you have the advantage of getting to sit down with somebody and have that interpersonal connection. With online critique partners, you send them things ahead of time and you may use track changes or Google Drive to mark up the manuscripts and then send them back. The disadvantage to that is you don't necessarily get that interpersonal relationship that you do in the in-person group. The alternative to either of those is what my critique group has been doing for the last 3 years, which is a hybrid online in-person critique group, where we send each other manuscripts and chapters using Google Drive. And when you use Google Drive, you can send it to everybody at the same time, so all the people in the critique group can see what each other is saying about the manuscript. So one person may make a comment on a line, and then another person may make a comment on that person's comment. They may disagree, they may agree. And when you have multiple people collaborating within one document, you kind of create this running dialogue that goes throughout the week. And then on Sunday, my critique group gets together using Google Hangouts, where we discuss each other's manuscripts, ask questions, maybe ask for clarification on some points or critiques that we didn't understand. So we get that interpersonal connection that you get in an online critique group, but with the flexibility of being online, so you can meet from anywhere in the country. You don't necessarily have to be in one city, in one location, in order to meet with them, which is useful when you're finding critique partners through something like Pitch Wars. Chances are, most of the people you meet in Pitch Wars are not going to be located in your hometown. So if you want to still meet face to face to discuss your manuscripts and to discuss your critiques, you can use something like Google Hangouts in order to do that. It's been a really valuable way of meeting with critique partners for me because I do value that personal connection time. And it's why, when I do find my mentee, I probably will want to meet with you on a video chat too, because I want to get to know you as well as get to know your writing.